Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of some buck killing action. I tell you what are you laughing about?
I don't know.
There's a
I
lot
just
of
wasn't expecting that. It was a
Dude,
change in direction.
We got to change it up a little bit. I'm telling you too. Justin has been on fire lately, making some of the finest jerky. This is good. This is famous.
It's a good batch.
Dude, this is a phenomenal
It could be
batch.
famous now.
The only thing that I did learn,
sweet chipotle.
it's very good. I'm like, Justin, I'll buy a bag of that from you. And he's like, no, dude, you've already paid for it. So, I'm not sure how I paid for it.
I'm about ready to start using your deer meat out of the freezer to make the next batch.
Please do.
So don't worry.
Please do. But listen, before we continue to get you just totally excited about trying to get a hold of some of Justin's jerky, if you have not had a chance to watch episode 500, oh my gosh, 500 episodes. That one was last couple days ago that hit. We're giving away, or I should say, Justin decided to give away his bow and arrow with no arrows. I couldn't allow that to happen, so we're throwing in a Lancaster gift card so you can go buy yourself an arrow. Who gives away a bow and no arrows? That's ridiculous. So
We give away a free bow every year.
this is special. This is special. This is a complete package, rocking everything. If you want to get the details on that so you can participate,
Go back
there's
and watch
still
the last
time.
episode.
What do you got to do? What do they got to do?
They just go back and watch the last episode. All the instructions are in there. Guys, we're going to give you to the end of this weekend. When I come in on Monday to the office.
Stop pounding the table. He yelled at us to stop pounding the table. You keep pounding
Brando,
the
I'm
table.
sorry for pounding the table. I'm just very passionate about the fact that we're giving my bow away to some lucky viewer out there. So go back and watch the last episode. It's got all the info. When I get into the office next week on Monday, we're going through the comments. We're going to find a random person that is subscribed to the channel that has, hey,
They got to go back and watch.
they got it. I'm just telling them again. Subscribe to the
don't tell
channel.
them. They got to watch the show to find
Like
out.
us on Instagram.
No.
Follow us. And do the
Let's
third thing
get
that you're
going right
supposed to
now
do.
to see another
Fine.
killer hunt from John Herman, longtime member of our
Fan
team.
favorite, I'd say.
He's
Like if we had to take a poll of all like the team members, I think Johnny'd be up there.
he's way up there.
Who doesn't love John
he's a
Herman?
good dude.
He's such a great dude. Let's watch him right now.
All right, kids, just cracking light. It's like low 30s for temperatures. We need this wind to swing around. It's kind of northeast right now. It's mostly just thermals. I need a steady south wind, so keep our fingers crossed on that, but feels like a good morning. Let's keep our fingers crossed again. Let's just keep crossing our fingers until we got all of our fingers crossed. And then we'll start crossing our toes. Alright, let's see what happens. was skeptical because, I mean, when I shot him, I thought, man, I hit him good, maybe just a touch back, but he ran and he stopped, and then I thought maybe he was gonna tip over, and then I saw him walk for a little bit, and then I can't see into that anymore, so I just didn't want to get too excited. My God, he had me pinned. I'm sitting here trying to wait and figure out where I'm gonna draw on him, and he looks right up at me, and my arrow's just quivering. My arrow's just quivering. I don't know how. He kept going. He knew something was up. Oh my God, that is the biggest buck we got on this farm. And I'm pretty sure I just killed him. But anyways, man, it looks like I made a good shot on him. And I really don't know what to do here. I think I'm just gonna give him another half an hour, and then I'm gonna slip out of here. Wow. Okay guys, I'm still in the tree. A little update. I obviously looked at the shot, and it's now quarter after 9, so I shot him at 8. Just a little bit ago I heard him bellering in this bedding area that he was headed toward. So I've shot deer in the liver before, and sometimes it takes, you know, an hour or two for him to die, unfortunately. But that definitely was him. I got a buddy that's gonna come up this afternoon, and we'll leave him till then and come back in here and hopefully make the recovery, so stay tuned. Man, he's a beautiful buck. Sorry for the crappy camera work, but I'm by myself here. So anyways, I recovered the arrow. It is painted red. I think the guys are right with the liver hit and a potential one lung. I mean, maybe I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out when we got him. I'm pretty sure I just heard him die when I was up in my tree there at the end. My buddy's got his lucky Ted Nugent hat on, which is standard for the track jobs. Come on in here, get in here. There it is, right there, the old Nuge.
This is the Nuge hat, given to my dad by Ted himself.
Yes.
This is our good luck hat.
So
we
anyways,
ain't gonna need it today.
Yeah, we're gonna find that buck, and we're gonna celebrate here in an hour or two. So stay tuned. All right, guys. We got some blood. We're getting down in that area where I saw him. All right, so we've been struggling with tracking this thing. It's like 2:30, and my buddy just seen a wolf on the road. So I think we got ourselves and the wolves tracking this thing. All right, we definitely got a bed here. I think my buddy just, I think he found him. I think he found him. We got him?
We got him.
The old Nuge hat! The old Nuge hat worked!
Nuge.
Woo!
Well, I think a little bit of, oh, by the way, he's right there, helps.
Oh my God, look at this. Look at where this buck is. And this is where we parked the truck.
10 yards from the road.
Oh my God. Oh, the wolves got him. Oh no. Oh, what a pretty buck.
How long do you think it took him for this? It couldn't have been more than 2 hours when they got on.
What a pretty buck. Oh my God. Look at what the wolf can do in a short period of time.
3 hours time.
Oh. So, my buddy just saw a wolf on the road, up the road a couple hundred yards, about an hour ago. And I'm guessing we must have run that wolf off of this deer. Oh, what a gorgeous buck. Thank God we found him. Just thank God. It was getting that pit in your stomach moment where I'm like, oh my God. All right, well, now we got to figure out what we're gonna do with them. Well, we got them, kids. I tell you what, there was some times when we were tracking this deer that I did not feel like we were maybe gonna find him. I thought I made a pretty good shot on him, but hit him in the back end of the rib cage. And as you guys know, it's liver back there, which is gonna kill the animal. But you gotta give him enough time, so we gave him 5 hours. We struggled with the blood trail. It was really tough going. And we lost it in one of his beds. He was about 20 yards short of a little roadway that we got back there that we call the West Gate. And we ended up having to start body searching. My buddy Oli that drove over to help me, he was staying on the blood, and I started body searching, and we ended up finding him just on the other side of that roadway. In fact, we parked the truck when we went out there to look for him within 15 yards of where he laid. So it's just crazy how it goes sometimes. But oh man, I can't be happier. This is a really good buck for up here in northern Wisconsin. I had a couple of pictures of him, but he was more prone to be west of where I shot him. So luckily, I don't know if the wolves had run him over here or what happened, but shot him in the same stand as I shot that buck in 2020. So it's been a great stand for me. It's a nice bedding area, and those deer like to funnel off of those big fields and feed their way through those bedding areas in the morning. And sure enough, he came through at 8 o'clock, and now he's going to end up on our wall here at the cabin. So I hope you guys enjoyed the hunt. I know it got a little hairy at the end, but we got her done. So now it's time for Illinois. In fact, it's what day is it? It's Thursday. So Illinois opener is this Saturday. I'm hoping to be in a stand down there Saturday night. I got some nice bucks to hunt down there, so you never know, maybe we can put down another big buck down in Illinois. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bow hunt or die.
Well, Justin, I got to tell you, I'm glad at least at this point we don't have to worry about wolves here in Illinois.
We got coyotes though, and
I know, but
they're just as bad, man.
I know, but
I mean, that is such a bummer. You know, anytime that happens, and we've seen it a few times over the years,
and we've talked about it.
And we've all know
detail.
It's either happened to us or happened to a friend. You know, and it's just like it's that balancing act of like,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that deer is down, but I'm just not 100%. And it's, you know, everybody preaches this. When in doubt, back out. When in doubt, back. Like it's just been beaten into our heads so much that you're like, you do want to err on the side of caution, but you also know like there's the possibility that something like this could happen. Now, fortunately for Johnny, you know, they didn't really get much of the edible meat out of that animal. It was mostly like the center section, so didn't lose really much. I don't think any meat out of it. The hide was still good. I mean, it's a great deer. I mean, I don't know what that deer scores, but that is a very, very good deer. A great hunt. And Johnny's like one of the most likable, he's one of those dudes that you're just rooting for. Like since the day I met Johnny, I have a fun story about meeting John Herman. So
are we going to hear it?
We are. Yeah. So I met John years ago. We got a hunting lease together. I'd never met Johnny in my life. I knew Johnny's friend Dan Schaefer, who used to film with us. Right? We only knew each other through the forum. We never met in real life. My buddy Mike and I had an opportunity to get a lease, but we couldn't afford it by ourselves. I put a post on the forum looking for a couple guys to join us on this lease.
And this is Dan and Johnny.
Dan contacted me and said, I want in on the lease. My buddy Johnny's going to come with me. They live up in, obviously, northern Wisconsin. We're here in Illinois. Lease was in central Illinois. They went down and hunted for a couple days. Mike and I drove down The first time we ever met these dudes in our lives, we went hunting on our lease, but I'll never forget pulling up and they had their clothes all clipped on the trees. Like Johnny is a scent control freak, like nobody I've ever known.
He is.
And Johnny was standing around in his underwear.
Clinton mentioned this to me the other day.
With his clothes all in the trees, airing out from the morning's hunt. And that was the first time I ever met John Herman. That was
So you met John Herman in his underwear?
I'm pretty sure he was in his underwear. And this was probably like 2008, maybe, something like that. Yeah, I think it was 2008. It was right after
we don't need to know what else happened on that that trip.
We drank a lot of Labatt Blues over at the campground.
All right. But here,
and had a good time.
Before we dive into Ask the Experts and before we, there's nothing else to talk about. It's an awesome hunt. I mean, man, he knows how to get it done. He's done it every single year. He's a fantastic hunter. Maybe me and you need to start taking more lessons.
Well, he looks like Greg Miller.
He does.
Greg Miller's a really good hunter, so maybe
there's something.
There's something going on.
Both from Wisconsin, too,
we
right?
We need to look like famous, better hunters, Todd.
I guess so. But listen, I want to talk about that because, man, this is hot right now. When in doubt, back out. What should you do? Let's just take a minute to talk about it. I mean, because I'm not sure that I got the feeling from you. Are you telling the fans? Are you telling the watchers?
You gotta back out. You gotta back out.
Yeah,
you gotta do it. We hate to do it, and it's one of the hardest things to do. We've all been there where like you just want to go a little bit more, a little bit more. And then all of a sudden you bump the deer and it's all over. Right? So
again, what we're talking about specifically, guys, you make a shot, you don't see the deer fall over, you don't know if the deer is dead. Yes, most of us are always going to get out of our stand. We're probably going to check our arrows. We're going to see what we have. You might take a few steps to see what that blood trail looks like. And obviously, you're going to learn a lot of that kind of stuff along the way. Are there bubbles in the blood? What color is the blood? Are there guts on the arrow? Etc. And you're going to start making decisions. But what you don't want to do is fall in the trap where it's like, I'll go one more step. I'll go another couple more yards. And before you know it, you're down looking for a little amount of blood. It's not going your way. It's dark. And you blow it. So when in doubt, back out. Always err on the side of caution because I'm going to tell you right now, it's a lot easier to find them in the daytime than in the dark.
There is no doubt about that. So, all right, guys, let's jump into an Ask PJ Riley section brought to you by our friends over at Lancaster Archery.
I think we always push the hard ones to him. Do we do that on purpose?
Yeah, because he's smarter than us. Generally
speaking. We're just like, this is like the Todd and Justin bashing. That's how you can tell you're mature when you can bash yourself.
No. We're better hunters than PJ, but he's just more technically sound than we are. So we give him the technical questions.
I'm glad he's not here to argue this.
We take the hunting ones. We all know PJ can't kill bucks unless he's with an outfitter.
Or a gun.
Anyways, or a gun. So, but we turn to PJ to answer this question. How can an arrow spine be too stiff for today's bows? Isn't the energy wasted from the arrow flexing before the arrow becomes stable? I don't know the answer to this, which is why we have PJ on the team. So let's see what he's got to say.
All right, Todd and Justin, question here from a bow hunter who wants to know, how is it possible for an arrow to be too stiff for today's bows? That's his terms, today's bows. And he's asking, isn't there a lot of wasted energy when you have an arrow flexing? And doesn't that make them less accurate? So to that answer, I would say, take a look at those Olympic recurve archers. Those guys are shooting 70 meters, and if you've ever seen slow motion, those arrows are flexing ridiculous, and yet they're able to keep them in the 10 ring. So the wobble is not going to necessarily affect your accuracy. So I'm guessing this bow hunter isn't referring to traditional bows, but probably compound bows. And the answer is, yeah, they still can be too stiff. So when you're tuning and you're noticing that you're having some issues with the tuning, the arrow just isn't coming out straight and it's like super stiff. Let's say you're shooting 50 pounds and you're shooting a 200 spine arrow. That's like an arrow that you would shoot like 80, 85 pounds. So if you're shooting 50, 55 pounds with that super stiff arrow and you notice that you're having some tuning problems, it could be because it's too stiff and it's just very unforgiving. That's going to be where your biggest problem is going to be, in forgiveness. Now, once you get higher 60, 70 pounds, it's hard to find an arrow that's too stiff at 70 pounds. But as you back it down, you definitely can have problems where an arrow is too stiff. Stick to the spine charts, go with what they recommend. They recommend a spine for a reason. And like I said, that arrow forgiveness, you can get a lot more with a properly spined arrow than one that's too stiff.
All right, thank you to PJ. That was a great answer. Long story short, a stiffer spine isn't as forgiving. So just make sure you use the arrow charts. They make them for a reason, and that you have the right spine. The one thing that I will say, there's this huge trend towards like heavier arrows, high front of C, or front of center, FOC. There's a trend towards that, right? When you add a bunch of weight to the front of your arrow, whether it's a brass insert or an actual screw-in weight or a heavier broadhead, you are weakening the spine of your arrow in doing that. So if you're somebody that's planning on really going with a lot of point weight up front, you do want to kick that spine up maybe one level from where you would normally be. So for me, if I'm normally a 340 spine with a 100 grain tip, but I'm going to add a bunch of weight and shoot a 175 grain head, I might want to go to a 300 spine. Just something to keep in mind. Because there's a lot of guys adding weight out there to the front of their arrows.
People have been adding weight to the front of arrows.
I know, but you just got to make sure the spine is right.
Bone-crushing destruction.
I don't need to crush the bones. I need to crush the soft tissue.
You just got to hit the right spot.
Is what I need to crush. So guys, next up, we're going to join me and Todd. We're not joining anybody, but we're going to take a look at trophy photos for this week's episode. Adam Leonard.
Barry Winsek.
Brock Helmert.
John Doyle.
Will Allen.
And Zach Wells.
All right, Todd, here we go. Did I say Brock Helmert? That's a cool name. Brock. All right, Graph Man. Do we have a winner? I just wish my wife looked at me the way Will Allen looks at his deer. Look at that. I feel like I want to play the Jeopardy music right now.
John Doyle?
I was going to go with John Doyle as well. John, congratulations.
Okay,
fine
ready?
buck,
Whoa.
fine trophy. What do you mean?
We doing this?
Yeah, no, we've been doing it, Todd,
okay,
in case you missed it. John Doyle, congratulations. Make sure you send your information to us.
I'm going to say something about John.
Oh, man, come on.
Dude, I got it lower.
They don't like when we critique people. They get mad. They're like, why don't you just shut up, idiots?
John could have made this buck look humongous. I mean, dude, look at the size of this buck and this rack, and he's got it so scrunched up. John, you could stretch this baby out a little bit, turn his head a little bit more. Just give me a few extra tips. You still won, though, so that's all that counts. Make sure you get us your information,
John. It's
not
all about size, Todd. Jeez.
Well, that's not what she said. So, with that being said, I don't know if we can say that.
John, or is it?
Good luck in the woods, guys. Johnny, congratulations, great deer. Hopefully, me and Justin are going to soon be the center of attention with the buck. That's my plan.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. See you guys next time. Bye.
I want a buck. I'm ready.
You want to be the center of attention?
Yes, with a big one like Johnny.
You say the weirdest things. I don't know where you come up with them.
You want to bite my jerky?
No, I'm good.
Here, come on.
That's COVID, man.
All right, that's the best ending of the show ever.